Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maud Toussaint Como. This is the channel where we talk about fragrances and arts. Today I am talking about a fragrance from the house of TIZIANA Terenzi. As you know from a previous video, I have been on a discovery of different offerings from the house. And I've spoken about Caput Mundi, and I promised to talk about my second acquisition, which was White Fire. So this video is all about White Fire. The nose behind White Fire is, of course, Paolo Terenzi, like it is the case for all the other perfumes from the house. So like all his other creations, the perfumer's approach is to try to literally capture, as if by magic, a place, a location he's been, or an environment in which he has lived, and he is trying to express the emotion he has felt from this lived experience in the bottle, as if he's a magician. In the case of White Fire, it was inspired, he says, by a solitary trekking trip on the Dolomites of the Italian Alps. The Dolomites, they are really a splendor of nature. They are widely regarded as some of the most stunning mountains in the world. So in addition to the spectacular rock formations, you have the emerald lakes, deep-cut glacial valleys, verdant alpine and flower-filled meadows. So it is a very contemplative place where people go up on the mountain and just meditate. But it's also a very hip place because you have some very expensive ski resorts. So the perfumer's quest was to create this fragrance that would somewhat capture this beautiful and majestic and luxurious of a place. And he also had a very specific instance in mind. He wanted to capture in that space the silence of snow, he says, and more specifically, a fire in the snow and the dazzling white of the snow, as he says, and how that was brought alive and is sparkling by the flickering flames. So this is where the name White Fire comes. And so to me, it was important to understand the space and what the perfumer was trying to do in order to determine if the fragrance is true to his inspiration. So Fire is the name. When I first heard the name, I would have thought that it's a misnomer of sort. I would have anticipated smoky white, floral, or blonde leather, pretty much like Sunshine Amouage, Sunshine Woman by Amouage. But this is not smoky. It is an aquatic green flower. So clearly, as I mentioned, with the beautiful emerald lake, the glacial top of the mountains, the perfumer was trying to capture something aquatic and green and luxurious. And so how did he do that? In terms of specific notes that he used to interpret this vision and this experience, the notes are green leaves, fresh ice, and oxygen. That was the first time I heard of those specific aquatic notes. So this fragrance is quite unique as far as I know from my research. I've not seen any other fragrance where the top note is fresh ice and oxygen. And the middle note is Chinese jasmine, ferns, and white amber. And the base notes are sandalwood, amber, which is very essential skin-like note, and musk, which is a fairly animalic note. So the fragrance is really a unique take on jasmine. Yes, jasmine is really one of those notes that lends extreme richness and intensity to a perfume. Most of the houses, actually, the luxurious houses, essentially have perfume where they're trying to do an ode to the jasmine flower. So you have Le Labo that has jasmine 17, Tom Ford has jasmine rouge, and Soleil Blanc. So the jasmine take on this one, as I mentioned, I've not seen that before, in a sense that because of the oxygen and the fresh crush ice note, the jasmine is really rendered very airy, and as it's juxtaposed and interspersed with the fern, which is very green, and the warm sandalwood and the sensuous amber, that gives the composition a unique sort of it factor. So the composition ended up being very soft, unobtrusive, because of the airiness of the oxygen, as if you were on top of a clean mountain. And so the fragrance at times seem not to be there, but you know it is very much there. So the whole thing sort of bolster a feeling of cleanliness and femininity and elegance, and all in an energetic way, as if you are trekking up on the mountaintop in the Dolomite, in the Italian Alps. So to me, the fragrance is actually very good for fall wear. So because of the flower, one might think that it's really good for spring and summer, but at least for someone like me, because I don't really like floral perfume, I have to admit that when I first tried the perfume, I was with the representative and he put it on my skin, it felt very jasmine-y to me and in your face. It was hot at the time, and that's really all the note I could pick up. The flower and the oxygen, I was like, oh my God, I'm just like covered in a field of jasmine, and the oxygen is amplifying the effect. It was not a great feeling for me. But he was insisting that it's such a great fragrance. He really sees it on me. His mom's wears it. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to give it a try and just go for it. So during the cooler time right now that we're going through in this fall, I have to say that I have been totally delighting in the fragrance. The cool air makes it more balanced and toned down, so the fragrance become much more interesting to me. I could appreciate the perfect clash between the white sparkle of the jasmine petals and the crispiness of the green notes, the fern and the sensuality of the darker carnal effect of the amber and the musk. And I actually love to wear it when I go on a walk with hubby, because that's kind of has been our little thing since the pandemic started. And I wear it, it does not interfere, and all I smell is freshness and just really comfort and beauty. So I've played a little bit with layering it, and that builds it noticeably even more. And so some nice combination I've found with Whitefire is layering it with Andromeda, which is another fragrance from the house that is really popular, and that makes for some very beautiful combination. Glad to pair this painting with my review of Whitefire. This painting is by the Haitian artist Richard Barbot. The artist is an extraordinary portraitist. He's known for iconic portraits that he's done of great celebrities and political figures like Barack Obama. Here in this painting, we actually commissioned this painting from the artist. The subjects are those two very beautiful little girls surrounded by a field of tropical flowers. I'm actually pretty proud to have played a little bit of an active role in this composition, because when the artist sent the image of the work in progress, I asked him to add a few motifs like the coconut trees to reinforce the Caribbean-ness of the space. So like all of his other paintings, this composition here is enlivened by the rich colors and the depth of the subject. Here, those two pretty girls. His approach to painting, as he says, is that his painting should transport the spectator to a place at the border of two worlds where the shape and colors he's using vibrate on the canvas to create a fairy space that we can see here in this painting. And this space is almost visually disturbing in the dexterity and mastery of image of this artist. So I am really glad to share this painting with you. I hope you enjoy it. So I'd like to thank you very much for watching. I am glad to share this information with you. This is all I have for you today. Please like and subscribe if you like the content. Until next time, bye.